Hello, welcome back to a live video at Bruising. So we're actually having a proper look behind the scenes today, as this is a room that's not actually seen on the guided tours. So if you've been around the house before, this is a little bit of an extra bonus for you. This is a room called the chapel kitchen. No, that's completely wrong. The chapel kitchen's in there. I don't know what this room's called, but it is a kitchen from before we moved in and my grandparents moved up, and this is actually where we have dinner parties now and use it for meetings. So before we started doing these videos, I asked my parents, what is the ethos of Bruising? And my mum said, well, it's people. And it's a really good answer for a lot of reasons, but the people that work here or have worked here in the past remember it fondly. So at the moment we have 3 people who work here who have been here for over 20 years. There is Catherine Turner, who has been here for 26 and a half years. There's Adele Loy, who has been here for 25 years, I think. And then there's Stephen Brown, who I think has been here for 21 years. And the rest, you'll have names of amazing people. Rebecca, Charlie, Nicola, have all been here for over 5 years or 10 years. So people at Bruising, not just the family, but the people who have worked here in the past or now, love it here and want to stay. A testament to that is families whose parents or grandparents used to work here often ring and ask, would you mind if we spread the ashes here of my grandmother who used to be a butler or a kitchen maid. And whilst there's still employees at Bruising, there is not as many as there were in the past. In 1950 or 1930, there would have been around 30 staff working here, and then by 1955 there was none. It was just Colonel Robert on his own. Now, including those that work at the Tide Barn, there is around 30 staff who work here again, but they fulfil different roles, all equally as important as it was back then. So instead of having a cook at this time, we have an accountant. And instead of having a butler, we have an events manager. So times have changed, and so have the roles of people. Now, where was I going to go after that? I had a crib sheet somewhere. Oh, yes. So on our last video, we had a comment from a lady called Julie Bell. And she mentioned that her grandmother used to work here, and she was a cook. So this inspired us to do this video in this very kitchen. Her grandmother started working here in about 1930, she estimates. And we really thank you very much for sending this in, Julie, because these stories are so interesting to us because we have no idea about them until people actually tell us. And so Julie's grandmother was a cook here, and it is very likely that she worked in this very kitchen. It wouldn't have looked anything like this now, but if you see behind me, there are 2 hearths. So everything's inverted, it's quite hard to. 1, 2, and you'll see there's a small mechanism up here. So that would be to turn the meat in front of the hearth. If you light a fire, oh, here we go. But here, and turns a fan at the top, up here. This would turn the cogs and get the pig, cow, sheep, hare, whatever, to turn and cook evenly. It's quite an unusual mechanism because the meat would stand vertically, whereas you would normally expect a spit to turn on a horizontal axis. This reason was basically it was a cheaper method than to have the more complex horizontal axes. But Julie's grandmother would have worked in somewhere like this. Very different at the time, and you can see on the ceiling there are some hooks. These are meat hooks, or for herbs. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't have a whole deer hanging from the ceiling. You would have a couple of rabbits, a hare, or something like this. And Julie's mother, from Julie's testament, Julie's grandmother, actually cooked a cake for Queen Mary in 1933. So Queen Mary was the wife of King George V and the grandmother of our current monarch. Now, amazingly, we actually have a signed visitor's book from Queen Mary. This is a testament to how poorly we get to do it now, because our guests don't ever sign it. Not for their fault, but because of our fault. We always forget. But here you go. That is Queen Mary, I think. And the date, 1933, on the 24th of August, which is a wicked little time capsule. And just, again, things of a family's possessions lying around in an archive in the house that we could dig up. And these two stories coming together, I think, is absolutely wonderful. And I think that'll wrap up everything I have to say today. And I think this is the most interesting one yet. So if you've been watching, thanks for tuning in. And we're back next week, hopefully in the Tide Barn, for something a bit more wedding-y. Bye now.